All right, what's up, man? My name's Tad, and we are here to do a podcast today. It's our first one, and we're going to be calling it High Country Hangouts. I'm here with my homie, Skylar. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Skylar, live in Red Lodge, and we're stoked to be taking this journey with my homie Tad.
Yeah, we've been thinking about doing a podcast for a little while now, and finally getting the ball rolling. Just gonna do a little bit about myself. So I'm from Wyoming. Skylar and I both met in a little town called Alpine, Wyoming.
Yeah, what, probably 18 years ago, 19 years ago?
I think that's the right number. Yeah, almost 20 here soon. Which is kind of crazy. It goes by fast. Yeah, we basically met. We have the same stepbrother, so we're kind of like step brothers. And we enjoy doing a lot of the same things. So we met when we were pretty young and then grew up snowboarding and fishing. We both enjoy the outdoors quite a bit, and we both have dogs, so that's another similarity.
Yeah, it was a good time growing up in Alpine. I think, there's a lot of going into the backcountry, the Grays River, and doing a lot of fishing and hiking was pretty influential on the way I grew up, and I know the way you grew up. And it's definitely different growing up in a small town like that compared to a lot of people around the country. So I think it was really beneficial and pretty fortunate, I feel like.
Yeah, me too. We ended up getting to go to Jackson Hole every weekend when we were in high school to do some snowboarding and get into as much fresh powder and as big of mountains as we could find, basically. So
Yeah, that was pretty sick. What was the pass called? It was the Weekend Warriors.
yep, Weekend Warrior, and it was like $350. You could ski every weekend, no blackout days. So
Yeah, it was a really good time. I think some of my favorite memories are definitely from those days. Skiing up there on the village or snowboarding was just kind of pushing ourselves, pushing each other, and who can do what, and then going out and out of bounds and being hoodlums and doing shit we probably shouldn't have been doing, and it was cool.
yeah, we always loved to go to the back country. We went out of bounds to the Rock Springs Bowl and always got to ride lots of powder, always trying to drop cliffs, always pushing it as much as we could. So it was fun.
Yeah, and now I'm in Red Lodge, Montana. I've been here about 6 years, just over 6 years, and I came here to actually be a ski bum as well. Kind of following those days, I thought I'd come try it out, and didn't end up working out very well. I had a bad concussion, so I found myself just kind of staying around town and a little I don't know, maybe a little depressed. Got a really bad injury. I had a really bad concussion on the mountain and had double vision for a few months, which led to me getting, like Tad referenced earlier, my dog Poe, which was pretty sick. He's a cool dog, and wouldn't trade it for anything. I got a job working for the Red Lodge Area Community Foundation, taking photos for them, which is pretty cool. It's led to a lot of really great opportunities around the state and meeting wonderful people in the community and being a part of something pretty sweet. We had a flood recently, a 500-year flood in Red Lodge, and they're very influential, and they brought a lot of impact to the community to help people. And it's a pretty cool organization, and I'm fortunate to take photos and do video work for them.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Just to jump back to your crash real quick, I remember when that happened, you had that double vision and you couldn't drive. Like it was a lot more debilitating than just being kind of dizzy once in a while. It impacted everything you did and kind of changed how you lived your life for a couple months, which was a little scary. So
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Like not knowing if your vision could go back. It was like I had to wear a patch over my eye, one of my glasses, so I could actually see straight. If I didn't have the patch, I couldn't see straight, and definitely, changed the way I look at stuff. I don't drink as much anymore, things like that. I'm a little more cautious. I don't really ski as much as I used to. Part of that could be because of the concussion. I think I've lost a little bit of the passion. I think as well, but yeah, it definitely was a debilitating and impactful injury for sure.
yep, yeah, don't catch your edge going 45 when
Yeah,
you're on the groomer
yeah,
because that shit hurts.
fucking not good. Uh,
Yeah, and I ended up getting carted off this ski mountain when I was skiing up in Targhee because I was riding and dislocated my shoulder so bad I couldn't pop it back in and had to go to the ER. And I've had my own little hiatus of ski injuries, and they're not a fun time. So
Not at all.
I think that's kind of what pushed us away a little bit. You know, I still love skiing, and it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of the money because you gotta have it's $200 a day pass nowadays, where we were paying 350 for the whole season on the weekends. So
That's crazy. Like it's at the
yeah,
village. It's what, over 200, like 250.
260, I think. Yeah, something like that for a day
It's
pass.
insane. Where I'm at in Red Lodge, the mountain is it's a solid mountain. It's a fun mountain. There's really never any issues with lines, which is cool. But it's still not cheap. I think it's $1,100 for a season pass if you don't buy the early bird. And for a mountain, we don't that gets maybe 50 inches of snow. It's how do you justify it? Like I have a hard time justifying it. But a lot of people love it. A lot of people love the ski life, but I'm just not quite there anymore.
Yep, I get that. We were spoiled when we were young, and so now we kind of ventured off and gotten interested in other things. But the passion's still always there. Just have to uncover it sometimes.
Yeah. And talking about other things, let's maybe lead into that. Ever since what college, our college days, we've been in a fantasy football league.
Yeah, yeah, that started about 8 or 9 years ago, I think. So,
Yeah, that's led to. I've always loved football. I have family out in Washington and Seattle area, or they were there, and I grew up going there a lot as a kid. So I've been a big Seahawks fan since the early 2000s. 2003, 2004, when going to Mariners games, and that was a really good time. And now I just love watching the Seahawks. And the draft is tonight. This is April 25th, and we're stoked. We're ready to watch some picks be made.
yeah, yeah, just the fantasy football league has been super awesome because it's allowed us to kind of stay in touch, and we have a really good group of friends that we do it with. So it's just a really fun time and a good way for us to stay connected as well as stay involved in football. I grew up playing and watching a lot more individual sports, a lot more action sports. So when I got to college, I was kind of like, well, not as many people are interested in those. So I got into football a lot more, and I ended up getting a degree in kinesiology and health promotion from the University of Wyoming. So I was around a lot of sports heads, and I don't know, I just really have grown into loving football. So it's a great time.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit. What else are we interested in? Going back to growing up in the Grays, that's actually my photography name, Grays River Photography. Um, two things there. I love photography, started taking pictures in high school. And then also I love fly fishing, started fly fishing in high school. And so those are two interests of mine. I love to hit the Rock Creek River or Rock Creek here out in Red Lodge. It's a little bigger now after the flood. Um, but yeah, so I love to fly fish. There's a lot of wonderful areas out here in Montana to hit, and all the way into Wyoming. And now I've been taking photos for about 10 years, almost, yeah, just over 10 years, I think. And that's yeah, it's crazy to think. I went to Northwest College in Powell, Wyoming. I got my degree there. I was only there for 2 years, and then moved around a little bit. I went to Bellingham, Washington, and I was there for about a year. And I was taking photos and doing video for a company out there, which was pretty cool. Good learning experience. And after that, it didn't work out too. I ended up having to move back to Wyoming, and I found myself coming to Red Lodge to be a ski bum, and found the gig with the foundation, and then do my own photography stuff for my business, as well as a venture I've taken with a couple guys called Big Sky Bonus Tracks, where we're filming musicians across the Montana and Wyoming area, and some people from Nashville. If people are coming through, we'll film them. It's been a pretty cool experience. We've done over, I think, 30 sessions now, and um, really sweet. It's been very. There's nothing cooler than having your own little mini concert and getting to kind of do what you love and then listen to music and putting that together.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say it kind of has a tiny desk vibe. It's not the same, but it's similar in the sense where you get to hear the artist and really kind of get to know them a little bit more than just like a music video.
Yeah,
It's like a better music video to me almost.
totally. And
Yeah.
Now, Tad, you've been in Fort Collins for 5 years.
Yeah, it's what is it? It's 5 years, or it'll be 6 years in August, I think. So yeah, it's just over 5 years, and we're still loving it. Live up here in Fort Collins. Work at a greenhouse, a wholesale greenhouse, and we grow a lot of perennials for other greenhouses around the area. And then we do also some custom annual baskets and yeah, just a lot of different plants. So it's really interesting. I love plants. I have way too many.
Yeah, what led you to liking plants? I remember us talking about, the idea of fantasy behind it. I want to go a little more into that and why you dig it so much.
Yeah, so I don't know, I grew up loving fantasy books, loving fantasy ideas. Sci-fi is really cool to me, and when I started learning about plants, it was just this completely different world that I've never had any insight into. So every time around the plants, it's just kind of like a its own little world, its own little ecosystem that operates in very unique ways, and it's just you learn something new every day about it. So it's really interesting to me, and yeah, like you said, the sci-fi fantasy going along with the plants, and kind of it's almost like they're aliens, but they're not. They're just plants. So it's pretty cool.
There's, I could see it. That the alien idea. It's a fun. I mean, they're wild, and there's some crazy plants out there.
Yeah, and they're alive. That's a weird thing. It's like
Yeah.
they're alive, and they have reactions, and they don't live life like humans do or like other animals do, but they live it in a very unique and kind of their own little way. So it's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah. I think we touch base on what we're about. You want to maybe go into what this podcast is and what we're working towards with it?
Yeah, yeah. So Skylar and I were talking about some ideas that we had with the podcast, and I think some of the staples are going to be trying to get some blue collar interviews on here. Trying to interview some people that have blue collar jobs, what they do, how they do it, and kind of the lifestyle that they live. We've noticed that there's a lot of people nowadays who sit 40 hours a week at a computer in front of a screen, and it kind of the work setting has changed a lot in the past 10 years. So we just kind of want to give a bigger perspective to people about how people live and work, and what their hobbies are and how they enjoy it. And yeah, it's just kind of gonna start there and branch out. But we were also thinking about including some artists and some musicians, because Skylar's background in recording and talking to other musicians kind of would lead us into a good opportunity to see what they're up to and kind of how they live their lives and what they like to do. So
Yeah, I'm excited. I think there'll be a good variety in there that I think people will be interested in, and the art part's always exciting to me. I love art and hearing from musicians or other artists, other different mediums, and then the blue collar. Working and growing up where we were, our dads were both mechanic and contractors, and growing up in that sphere and working with them and doing stuff like that has always been had an impact on me for sure. And I'm excited to talk to some people about that I know specifically, and maybe they can share some good information for folks around.
yeah, I was just thinking, it was always stressed on me to go to college, and you really need to get a degree to be successful. And it turns out that that is a path that you can choose, but there's a lot of paths, and I just think that it'd be kind of cool to give a platform to somebody who took an alternate route to life and see kind of how they did it and how it's going.
Yeah, man. And like, I mean, if you think about plumbers and contractors, but plumbers specifically, holy shit, they are making so much money. Like
Yep.
that's a good, and there's not enough of them, especially around Red Lodge. We need more plumbers, man. It's, you're making $125 an hour or more. And it's a good route to go if you're looking to support family and do all that kind of work.
Yeah, it's true, and it's applicable to everybody. I just spent $3,000 on my car repairs, so it's like you pay a mechanic, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of something that not a lot of people think about nowadays because everybody's got their head in 10 other things. So
Well, I mean, I don't think I have anything else to add, man.
yeah, I was just gonna add. Aside from that, we're open to talking about a lot of different things. We love fantasy football. That's gonna be a part of it. We also just, yeah, we're open to talk about a lot of things. I like aliens, conspiracy theories. I'm into a lot of different things. So
Yeah, it's a
yeah, I'm
fun
just
way. It's sorry to interrupt you there. It's a fun way
no
for
worries.
some homies to bullshit and keep in touch and talk, and there'll be a bunch of different topics. It's not all gonna be one thing, so I'm excited.
Yeah, just give us some time to talk about it, let loose a little bit, and have a little hangout session. Nothing too serious, but just want to get it on the books and try something new.